Okay, so put your goggles on, please. I'm not going to experience the heat from the lava. So you can see the bubbles on the surface. It's just the steam going through the lava and making this tiny explosion. Have you heard about Pele's hair? It's a thin filament of lava. They are formed when lava is falling over an edge and the wind is blowing. You can have this kind of formation. They cool down very quickly and look like hair. And you can't really find them after an eruption. That's because they break very easily. So they turn into dust very quickly soon after the formation. You can see on top of the flow, it's getting darker in some area and stop moving in other, like here, but there is still lava going through. And this is because the lava is cooling down over the edge of the flow, and by doing so, it's actually insulating the lava flowing inside it. So in nature, in the open, lava is losing around 100 degrees Celsius every kilometer it's flowing. But when traveling under its own insulation, like it's doing here at the moment, it's just losing 1 degree. So it can stay hot for a very long time and travel very long distance underneath. You can see in front, you begin to have some wavy shape that appear on the surface. So this is called Ropy Pahoehoe, and you can find that a lot around Iceland. For example, if you've been to Pele National Park, at the viewpoint on top, you're actually walking on this kind of formation. But you can see that pretty much everywhere around Iceland where you have a lava field. So I have more ice. You want to see what's happening if I put it on top? Yeah? Oh, me too. So I'm going to put the ice on top. The lava is going to cool down very quickly. And when lava is cooling down very quickly, there is no time for crystal to appear into the lava. And you just turn in the lava into what it's most made of. And it's most made of silica, 47%. So you're turning the lava into a volcanic glass. So what's happening here? It's some of the steam is going up, but some of it's going to be pushed and forced into the lava and make it blow like a balloon. So it's starting very slowly over here. It's getting bigger. It's just the steam that is trying to escape, but at the same time the lava on top is getting more solid, so it's just trapped there. And you can see where I put the ice on top. It's turning black very quickly. So just turning into a volcanic glass. So I told you before that lava is cooling down over the edge of the flow. So that means I can go under it and I can lift it. That's because the lava is solidified on the edge, but inside that, the lava is still very hot and liquid. And in nature, if lava is flowing down a slope, I'm maybe gonna have a big bubble over there forming. Yeah, you actually found a way through, and everything just falls back a little bit like a souffle. Well, we still have a big part of the bubble there, so far. So yes, so if the lava is flowing on a slope like it's doing here, maybe the lava is going to be able to flow out. And if the lava is flowing out, you will just leave an empty tunnel behind. And that's the way to do a lava tunnel or lava tube. And here the lava is actually going down at the bottom here. And you can feel that inside it's like very hot. So here I'm going to help it a little bit. Maybe later we're going to have a tunnel. It's not always the case, so we'll see. I'm going to leave it like this. We're going to check that later. So here, we have some volcanic glass. And that's because the lava cooled down very quickly. But if lava would have more time to cool down, you'd have time for crystal to appear into the lava. And at the end, when the lava would be completely solidified, it would look like this. So these gray rocks around the slide, it's also basalt, but it's a crystallized basalt. But if I take this rock, put it in the furnace in the back and melt it, it would get out the same way as you just saw, because it's exactly the same composition. The only difference is the speed of cooling down. And the black sand that we have in the slide here, that's what we use first to do the lava we saw today, so it's also basalt. But this one exploded under the glacier when Katla erupted the last time. So all three things, they look completely different from each other, but it's exactly the same composition, just different process of formation. Can you hear the lava making sounds? Okay. So this is just the lava cooling down. And what's happening, it's lava, when it's a liquid, it's taking more space than when it's a solid. So when cooling down, it's actually contracting on itself. But because at the same time it's contracting, it's getting more solid, it's making cracks and fissure into it. And that's what you can hear, is just the lava breaking itself apart. And this process of breaking when cooling down, what makes the lava feel quite dangerous a long time after an eruption is over. For example, the eruption from last year, or the one from last month, you can go there. That's not a problem. You can see the lava field cooling down at the moment. There is no more running lava. That's okay. But some people are walking on it. And this can be very dangerous, because first the lava can still be very hot. Depending on the amount of lava you have on top of each other, it can take years, and sometimes hundreds of years to cool down completely. But also could be walking on top of a lava tunnel, and if the roof of this tunnel is not thick enough, it could just collapse because of the cracks and fissure. And under that, the lava could still be very hot. And that's why you have to wait a very long time after an eruption, like to be able to go on a lava field safely. And I'm saying that because if you go there, you can see a lot of people walking on the one from last year and even the new one already. And sometimes the search and rescue team need to come and help them. So if you go there, it's okay. Just don't go on the lava field. It's not worth it at the moment. So in front, we got a bubble here. Also, I don't know if you noticed, but all this area also got lifted. So here, if I go on top and try to break the roof, it's actually hollow inside. And it's still like very orange, hot. So if I check the temperature, where I put the ice on top first, it's 500 Celsius, 930 Fahrenheit. Still pretty hot, but way lower than what we had at the start. But if I check inside where it's still orange, it's 1250 Fahrenheit, 680 Celsius. So way more, because it was protected by the lava on top. So this thin layer, it was enough to keep the lava inside hot longer. And here I just have a paper. Take fire pretty quickly. Do you like fire? You can see that. So I actually have a tip for you to know the temperature of the lava. So when lava is above 600 Celsius, 1100 Fahrenheit, that's when the lava is still emitting light. Orange, red, this kind of color. But when it's below this temperature, it's when the lava is taking a dark color. So if you see that lava is still glowing, it means it's still above 600 Celsius, 1100 Fahrenheit. This is going to help you to know if you can touch it? Not really. That's the only tip I got, so. But that shows you something. That shows you that even if the lava is dark, it doesn't mean it's cold. It can still be very hot and for a very long time. So if you're not sure by going to the eruption site that to know if the lava is cold enough, just don't touch it. It looks pretty obvious, but when I was there, I saw a lot of stupid stuff. So everything's possible. And I don't know if you've seen like hot spring around Iceland already. Yeah, have you seen the sign that say boiling water? Don't touch it. Yeah, that's mean people touched it. And it's not stopping people from touching it again. And it's the same actually. Looks obvious, but well, not for everyone. I hope no one here. I will judge you. Looks like I have a nice tunnel here. I just have to try to make it smaller. It's more like the end of a tunnel. You can see it's like still so hot inside that it doesn't break straight away. It's like still attached in the middle, kind of. I'm just going to grab this piece to show it to you. So it's not like a full tunnel. It's more like the lava flew out a little bit and solidified at the end, so it's not all the way through. It's really the end, but you could see it's actually a little bit hollow. It's not going all the way through because the lava flew out, but solidified at the end. And you can visit this kind of tunnel. There is a few in Iceland. And when you're visiting a lava tunnel, you're actually walking where the lava was flowing during the eruption. So where it's like glowing. And if you're looking at the lava field, you can be sure there's plenty of them everywhere. Some of them are small, others big. Some there is no entrance, because the lava flew out but solidified, like this one. But most of them actually collapse, because if the roof of this kind of cave is not thick enough, it's just going to fall by gravity because the cracks and fissure into it. And that's why if you're looking at the lava field, you can see a lot of trenches and holes everywhere. It's all the tunnels that didn't survive the cooling down process. But if a few hundred years after an eruption, the tunnel is still standing, it's pretty safe to visit, because everything that should have fallen fell already. And some are saying it's even safe to visit the lava tunnel during an earthquake. I wouldn't try it. It's just to show you it's very solid. And some of them can be very long. I was working in one that is like 5 kilometers, 3 miles long. And others so small you have to crawl to visit them. Go for the big one. Any questions so far? I like questions, but you don't have to.
How is the furnace powered? How do you get it that hot?
So it's an old industrial furnace that was used for metal industry. So it's like a big cylinder, and to heat up the lava, we're using gas. So at the moment it's propane, and we're going to switch to methane soon. They build a factory outside of Reykjavik doing methane on bio-waste. So you're going to use that instead. It's going to be better, certainly cheaper, and better for everything. So now it's like an old industrial furnace. Actually, the principle is very easy, just melting something. Just we need a lot of energy. But furnace from industry, that's what they bring every day, so very easy. So it's made like of steel around it, and inside it's like an empty space for what we call a crucible. So we have one next to the entrance. It's like a big bowl, and this crucible is made of graphite. So it's carbon-based, so it doesn't melt. It has a very high melting point. It's more than 4,000 Celsius. Way more Fahrenheit anyway, for Fahrenheit people. So yeah, it doesn't melt. That's where we put the lava into the shape of small pieces, basically. And we just need time. For the show you saw today, we need 5 hours to melt the lava. But that's because the furnace during the night is not on. It's off. Because it's costing money, gas, and Delphine, our lava master, the one that you saw at the entrance before, he would have to stay here all night. And for whatever reason, he don't want to. So it's off. So in the morning, the furnace is pretty cold. 300 Celsius, 600 Fahrenheit. Bah, that's nothing. So we need 5 hours to go back to 1100 Celsius, 2000 Fahrenheit. and to melt the lava that is inside. But between show we don't need as much because we already have molten lava. Furnace is hot, so even if you had to add more lava, more rocks, it's gonna melt faster. And we're gonna add 2 hours. Let's see. The first show, yes, this one it's 5 hours. And I told you that this lava could take years to cool down. But obviously it's not gonna be the case here because we have way less lava than what you would find in nature. But if we don't touch it, in the thickest part, it can still take up to 3 days to cool down to room temperature. So that's quite a long time, and we can't really wait for that because we have several shows a day. So when the show is over, we come back, we break it in small pieces, break very easily when cooling down, and smaller pieces release the heat faster. And then with gloves, shovel and bucket, we took all the pieces of lava back into the buckets, and we leave it to cool down for the day or the night in the back. And generally we use the same lava the next day. We always remelting the lava we're doing. And all the tools, like shovel, bucket, or this rod also, are made of steel. The steel has a higher melting point than the lava. So you can play with the lava and it's not melting our tools. Pretty convenient. And the whole process of cleaning is not taking us more than 30-40 minutes. To go back to the channel with the ice at the bottom. It's actually quite fast. And if it's so fast and easy, it's because the lava, it's flowing on top of the black sand that you can see in the slide. So a little bit of this black sand actually got remelted, but it's so hot. So it's sticking to the bottom. As you can see, try to take a piece. As you can see here, there is black sand at the bottom here. But we don't really care, we don't really mind, because the black sand is the initial lava we're using anyway. So we just take it with us. And that's why we put the black sand in the first place, because it makes the slide quite nice. And also we don't have to clean the lava from anything, we just take everything. So here in front, we got the bubble. But I also told you that all this area actually got lifted. So the same if I go here on top, it's actually hollow inside. So if I just take a piece, kind of hollow inside, and still very red. It's just because the steam was also trapped there, and make kind of a cave. And this could happen in nature. You could find this kind of cave, but it wouldn't be because I put ice on top. It would be because there is a natural gas inside the lava. And this gas will try to escape. Most of it's going to succeed during the eruption, but some will be trapped inside the lava when it's flowing down the volcano. And that's why if you're looking at a volcanic rock, volcanic field, there is quite often a lot of holes in it. It's just all the gas that couldn't make it out. But here in the lava you saw today, there is no natural gas, nothing. And there is steam, but we put it there, on top or under. But if there is no natural gas, it's because we use the black sand. And the black sand exploded under the glacier when Cap erupted the last time. So most of the gas was released during this initial explosion. But also, it's a very fine grain. So, and it was like for 100 years outside in nature. So if there was something left inside, it would just go out during these years. And when we melted the lava in the back in the furnace, when the lava is molten, the gas left inside would go up and escape. So we're removing what's left anyway. And that means there is no toxic gas in the room. That's pretty good. For me and for you. Or me first and you. But also gassy lava is actually more viscous. It will not flow as good as the one you just saw. It will kind of stay around here. Now that's not what we want, but we want it to flow down the slide, of course. But in nature, depending on the volcano or the eruption, we'd have more or less gas. Katla is doing a lot of CO2, for example, but I think the most famous one would be the sulfur, the X-smell. Big chance is going to be this one. But there is places where the lava is different, like in the center of the country, kind of. A place called Labanalaya. It's a famous hiking place for summer. I don't know if it's still open, because it's going to close for winter, it's just for summer. But it's a beautiful area to go for hiking. Just need 4x4, like river crossing, this kind of stuff, so not easy access. But there the lava is different. It's called rhyolite. And rhyolite is 70% silica. So when this lava is cooling down very fast, it's making obsidian. And you can find obsidian over there. In all the part of Iceland, of course, it's not the only place. That's one of the biggest and the most famous one. Any question? Any question? Would like to know a fact about lava? Sure. Thank you. So have you seen movie where people are sinking into lava? Like Lord of the Rings? Maybe Volcano? Maybe Volcano? Star Wars? What kind of? Someone's touching the lava at some point. Terminator? Doesn't count. It looks like lava, it's molten metal. It's different. But for me, it's Lord of the Rings. At some point, one character is sinking into lava, and he's very happy about it, if you remember. But this sinking into lava is not very possible. And that's because lava is molten rock. It's actually 3 times denser than water, so it's very heavy. And we're mostly made of water. So what would happen if I was here, would be here? I would just, just stay on the surface. And I don't want to be too graphic about it, but you can imagine what's happening to you over there. You can have a mix between the paper and the ice, kind of. But you never sink. And actually, if you ignore the heat of lava, it would be possible to walk on it. It will bounce a little bit under your feet. Well, don't do it, please. It's possible, it's not the greatest idea. But if you really want to try, I'm not going to stop you. That's what I call natural selection. Go for it, and I will watch. And certainly learn something in the process, pretty sure. But you will never sink. We like a piece of lava as a souvenir. You want one? Help yourself. Now, mine's a good reaction. You're gonna survive. And just the glasses in the bowl next to the entrance, please.